They stole our hearts in the 70s, but time changes everything. Let's see how the years have shaped these legendary voices. Don't blink. You won't want to miss the last ones. Frankie Valli defined a generation with that piercing falsetto as the frontman of the Four Seasons. While the Broadway hit Jersey Boys secured his financial legacy, recent viral clips sparked concern as the singer appeared barely responsive and lip-syncing during performances. Despite the apparent frailty, he officially launched a farewell tour in late 2023, determined to bow out on his own terms. Art Garfunkel provided the angelic counterpoint in folk rock's most volatile duo, Simon and Garfunkel. After decades of bitter feuds with Paul Simon and a terrified 4-year battle with vocal cord paresis that stole his singing voice in 2010, he miraculously recovered. Today, he tours with a healed instrument and released a memoir criticizing his former partner's Napoleon complex. Pat Benatar ruled the 80s airwaves with operatic power and 4 consecutive Grammy wins for Best Female Rock Vocalist. In a controversial move, she recently stopped performing her signature anthem, Hit Me With Your Best Shot, out of respect for gun violence victims. Newly inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, she continues touring alongside her guitarist husband, Neil Giraldo. Annie Haslam anchored the progressive rock sound of Renaissance with her legendary 5-octave vocal range. Beyond the music, she fought and won a private battle with breast cancer, channeling that survival into a vibrant career as a visual artist. Today, she remains the band's driving force, touring internationally and selling her paintings directly to a devoted cult following. Stevie Nicks remains the bewitching queen of rock, having survived the soap opera of Fleetwood Mac and the recording of Rumors. She openly admits to burning a hole in her septum from a $1 million cocaine habit before losing 8 years to a Klonopin addiction. Now, clean and iconic enough to have her own Barbie doll, she continues selling out arenas worldwide. Debbie Harry pioneered the new wave look as the stoic frontwoman of Blondie, merging punk with disco on Heart of Glass. Her life offstage was terrifyingly cinematic, involving a claimed escape from serial killer Ted Bundy and losing her townhouse to the IRS. She details these traumas in her memoir Face It, and still commands the stage with the band today. Ann Wilson possesses perhaps the most powerful pipes in rock history, driving Heart's hits like Barracuda. Her bond with Sister Nancy fractured in 2016 after her husband was arrested for assaulting Nancy's children, though they eventually reconciled. In 2024, she revealed a cancer diagnosis that forced the postponement of their highly anticipated Royal Flush tour to undergo chemotherapy. Nancy Wilson defined the role of female rock guitarist, blending acoustic finesse with hard rock aggression on tracks like Crazy on You. After the family drama involving her sister's husband temporarily halted Heart, she launched her first solo studio album in 2021. She recently reunited with Anne for a massive tour, currently on hold as she supports her sister's recovery. Chrissie Hynde established herself as the ultimate cool girl of rock with the Pretenders and hits like Brass in Pocket. She frequently courts controversy, facing backlash for comments regarding sexual assault victims and her aggressive bans on smartphones at concerts. A militant vegetarian and animal rights activist, she continues to release gritty rock albums, refusing to soften her image. Lita Ford shredded boundaries as the lead guitarist of the Runaways before going solo with Kiss Me Deadly. Her personal life took a dark turn with a hiatus on a desert island and a contentious divorce where she claims her ex-husband alienated her 2 sons against her. She now tours relentlessly, using her platform to speak out against parental alienation. Joan Jett became the godmother of punk after 23 different labels rejected her solo demo, forcing her to sell records out of her car trunk. That grit built Blackheart Records into an empire. Fiercely protective of her private life and a devout vegan, she recently faced a bizarre lawsuit regarding the origins of the Runaways logo, but remains a touring juggernaut. Melissa Etheridge broke barriers with her raspy vocals and early coming out, but her life has been marked by profound loss. After surviving breast cancer, famously performing bald at the Grammys, she suffered the tragic death of her son Beckett to an opioid overdose in 2020. She has since channeled her grief into a one-woman Broadway show and advocacy for prison reform. Suzy Sue architected the goth aesthetic, influencing everyone from Robert Smith to modern fashion designers. After dissolving the Banshees and retreating into a decade-long seclusion in France, she finally emerged in 2023 for the Cruel World Festival. While her voice has deepened significantly with age, her return marked one of the most anticipated comebacks in post-punk history. Sheryl Crow dominated 90s radio, but her rise began as a backup singer for Michael Jackson, where she later alleged suffering sexual harassment from his manager. Having survived a benign brain tumor and a high-profile breakup with Lance Armstrong, she was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2023 and has vocalized her concerns about AI in music. Kim Gordon stood as the stoic bassist of Sonic Youth until the band and her 27-year marriage imploded after frontman Thurston Moore's affair. She detailed the betrayal in her biting memoir, Girl in a Band, and pivoted to visual art. Now in her 70s, she surprisingly reinvented her sound with trap beats on her acclaimed solo album, The Collective. Alana Miles conquered the world with the sultry hit Black Velvet, but her career was derailed by a devastating spinal injury she attributes to a botched chiropractic adjustment. She spent her fortune on medical treatments to regain mobility. While physical limitations now restrict her movement, she occasionally releases new material, managing her condition away from the mainstream spotlight. Suzy Quattro shattered the glass ceiling for female bassists, famous for her leather jumpsuits and role as Leather Toscadero on Happy Days. Despite selling 50 million records, she remains frustrated by her lack of recognition in her native America compared to her superstardom in Europe. She still performs in the original leather gear and recently collaborated with KT Tunstall. Kim Deal shaped the sound of 90s alternative rock as the bassist for the Pixies before tension with frontman Black Francis led to her ouster. She found massive success fronting the Breeders, famously helping her twin sister Kelly navigate a heroin addiction during their peak. Recently, she reunited with the Breeders for anniversaries and continues to tour, maintaining her status as an indie rock hero. Belinda Carlisle transitioned from the Go-Go's punk roots to global pop stardom, all while masking a 30-year cocaine addiction she admits should have killed her. After finally getting sober in 2005, she traded the Hollywood lifestyle for a quiet existence in Bangkok. She recently returned to pop music with a Diane Warren collaboration, looking remarkably preserved without the chaotic lifestyle. Grace Slick defined the psychedelic era with Jefferson Airplane, once infamously plotting to spike President Nixon's tea with 600 micrograms of LSD at a White House party. She retired from music decades ago, brutally asserting that rock and roll is for the young, and that elderly rockers look embarrassing. She now lives quietly, selling her artwork for thousands of dollars.